often ask me which bit of the Sahara archaeologists choose to dig up. Why they choose to dig up one dune rather than another. Well, the answer is that some dunes are covered in magical things. They're a little darker than the normal sand dunes because they have lots of bits of pottery on them. Like this here, you see, it's studded with things that people have made. Look.
On the 26th of April, 1986, Unit 4 at the Chernobyl nuclear power station exploded. It was the worst nuclear accident in history. The explosion blew open the reactor core, releasing 90 times as much radioactivity as the Hiroshima bomb. The Soviet government responded by imposing a news blackout which was maintained for 5 years before the Soviet Union collapsed. During that time, the full consequences were concealed. Only now is the true scale of the accident at Chernobyl coming to light.
The campus of the University of Florida captures the mood of Gainesville. Friendly, outgoing, serious, and above all, safe. Therefore, it seemed especially cruel that in the fall of last year, this community was the scene of some of the most horrible murders in memory. A serial killer struck with no warning, leaving the survivors of this quiet little college town facing their gravest moment of crisis.
I woke from sleep with this lingering vision of a woman whom I had known many, many years before in Brooklyn when I was myself quite young. And that was the Sophie of Sophie's Choice. And so I immediately walked over to my studio and sat down and wrote the first pages of Sophie's Choice.
If there were places like this that people could come to all over the world, where there were animals of any kind, and where they could live with these animals and get to know them and become friends with them and raise their children along with these situations, my feeling is we would have an understanding that we haven't had for 10,000 years. Back when we did live in a world which was filled with animals and myths of animals and stories and thoughts and ideas of animals, where animals were where it was at, not cities. We've moved into cities out of that world. I think it's time that we moved in some way in our minds back into that world.
Years ago, thousands of men stormed ashore here. Americans, Canadians, British, and the free forces of Europe were attacking Adolf Hitler's Atlantic Wall. Germany's best soldiers waited for them. 59 infantry and 10 crack panzer divisions trained to hurl the Allies into the sea. Adolf Hitler had spent 4 years building steel and concrete bunkers and arming them with the best guns German engineers could build. Adolf Hitler's Atlantic Wall was built to last 1,000 years, as long as Germany's iron rule over the conquered nations of Europe.